This is Digivation Network.
You are still watching Digivation Network, and I'm Gideon Tobilaba. Growth in the economy matters for everyone. Individuals, businesses, charities, and the government. Nigeria became the largest economy in Africa in 2014. Since then, its economy has been struggling to survive, constrained by many structural issues, including inadequate infrastructure, tariff and non-tariff barriers to trade, obstacles to investment, lack of confidence in currency valuation, and limited foreign exchange capacity. In our special report this week, we take a look at how the global financial downturn has affected the Nigerian economy. This report is a must-watch for you. Sit tight.
It is without doubt that the intrusion of the COVID-19 pandemic has adversely affected every facet of life as we know it. While nations rally around in the wake of the recent COVID-19 vaccine rollout and with the gradual adaptation to the new normal, one area that will take a while to bounce back is the economy of nations. The pandemic brought about a new wave of economic downturn, and some experts would say the current financial crisis is the worst since the Great Depression. In the midst of these turbulent financial times, how does one manage finances despite the sorry state of the economy? We speak with a financial literacy expert, Oluwatosin Olasende, as she tells us how to manage your finances despite the harsh economy.
Well, my advice to Nigerians will honestly be, don't fret. Calm down and think of ways you can actually increase your income generating capacity. What new skills can you learn? What side hustle can you start to bring something extra? Also, this is not a time to be desperate, but do proper due diligence before jumping on any investment option. The scam and pausing options out there now are super high and people are falling prey to them. In fact, recently, the DG of the Securities and Exchange Commission stated that Nigerians lost about 18 billion to Ponzi schemes alone. You've worked too hard for you to lose your money just like that. Do your due diligence and stop jumping on get-rich-quick schemes.
For many countries, the workforce comprised majorly of millennials and Generation Z. These unique yet vastly different generations' approach to financial management differs. However, millennials and Generation Z share similar factors, which include the use of social media to make financial decisions, the need to be financially stable, and pass on a legacy of wealth to future generations. But with the brutal state of the economy, the first have to overcome the high rate of unemployment and underemployment. Before COVID-19 struck, the economy was growing at 2.2%. The World Bank, in a Nigerian development update, projects economic growth at 1.8% this year, compared with a previous estimate of 1.2%. Despite these statistics, Africa's biggest economy continues to contend with soaring food prices, high unemployment, and surging inflation. While the federal government of Nigeria continues to search for solutions to counter the economic fallout, such as the recent incentive tagged naira to dollar diaspora remittance by the Central Bank of Nigeria, more adequate measures must be put in place to boost the economy.
The Central Bank of Nigeria is doing is when we were kids, we used to call it tumbon, that kind of thing. That's just a kind of trial and error sort of thing. Let's see if this one works. If it didn't work, then we'll move to another one. Because over the last 3 years, they've been coming up with policy. The high level of policy inconsistency has in itself become a level of anxiety, has created the level of uncertainty within the market that people are just sitting down and looking at them. Yet the problems that they want to solve are left unsolved. So that's what has been happening. Now they come up with this bring one, collect five, kind of promo, buy one, get five kind of promo. And it's very funny. I think part of the thing is what they're trying to see if they can incentivize a lot of Nigerians to be able to start using the official channel for remittances instead of going through the back door. But that alone is not going to solve the problem, because you have to also address the high cost of remittances. The cost of remittances to Nigeria is one of the highest all over the world. And instead of, say you want to send $100 to someone, and you're going to pay, say, an additional $20 or $25 on top of the $100, it becomes very hard. So you might look for other underground money exchange systems where you can pay, say, $5, but it won't be captured within the national data. As that last month or this month, they said that in 2020, Nigerians abroad remitted about $34 billion. I mean, they're remitting about $34 billion, and our budget is $35 billion, which means that ordinarily, when you factor the amount that passed through the underground, you will discover that what Nigerians remitted was even higher than the budget, the national budget.
In addition to these measures, the Central Bank of Nigeria has introduced 37 strategic intervention programs aimed at reviving the economy. Among these intervention programs are reindustrialization of the economy and intervention in agriculture, among others.
You need to be a productive economy. You need to be producing instead of consuming. As long as we are consuming far, far more than we are producing, this thing is going to be happening. And you ask yourself, how many Nigerians are gainfully employed? And also those who are gainfully employed, how many of them are productive within that gainful employment? What is the output of every Nigerian who is gainfully employed? I know, and you look at the high number of unemployment, then you don't need anybody to tell you that this is where the problem is. And aside from that also, for Nigeria to overcome its current economic woes, it has to grow at a double-digit rate for at least 5 years, continuously, non-stop for 5 years. And there is no way you're going to grow at a double-digit economic rate when you have an economy that that is like a generator. You start it by 9 a.m. and you shut it down by 5 p.m. It's not going to work. For you to grow this economy to that level, grow it up to 7%, 8% for, say, the next 3 years, and the other one, you grow it at, say, 10% or so, it needs to be a 24-hour economy. And you cannot have a 24-hour economy when you don't have the underlying factors that help promote 24-hour economy. Number one, being availability of power. You don't have power, you don't have electricity. Nobody's going to burn generator for 24 hours so that you can have a 24-hour economy, because the cost of that is even enormous. Then secondly, you have to have security. People should be able to move from their homes to their areas of work, resume work, say, by midnight, close by early morning, come back. Other sets resume and come back. You have to have security. And also, aside from people who will go into the factory or the manufacturing sector to work for 24 hours, you have to have a 24-hour logistics network. Goods and services must be able to be moved from one part of the country to another part of the country without fear of molestation or fear of attacks or fear of insecurity. If the situation whereby when all these trucks that are moving goods and services, they will get to one town, they will sleep and wait for their break so that they continue their journey, is not going to work. If you don't provide the infrastructure, the security for goods and services to move from one part of the country to another part of the country. You can see what's happening. Food inflation is so high. Why is it so? And and majority of the foodstuff are products that are produced here in Nigeria. Why are they so high? Because it is costing enormous amount of money and human and man-hour to move them from the farms to the city and to move them from city to city. Many of them are being perish along the way. So that's the things you have to consider. for you to be able to achieve this thing, for you to be able to address the tough economic conditions we have in this country.
The big question remains, will these proposed solutions adequately address, and more importantly, turn around the financial downturn the country is presently facing? Or are they simply band-aids on a festering wound? Only time will tell as Nigerians continue to struggle in the midst of the lingering pandemic and a harsh economy.
This is Digivation Network.